All right, we're going to try to add Eliyahu and Aviva Bear to this live. Let's see. It's already on. This is on. We are trying to get Eliyahu and Aviva. Let's see if you guys are there. Accept request. Let's see. Go live with Casamati. Let's see what we got. Will it work? We're trying to do it the other way before. We're trying to add them, well, me to their chat. Now we're trying the other way. Let's see. Accept. Hmm. This is not connecting. Yeah. Go live with Casamati. Let's see if this works. If it doesn't work, we're going to have to do it a different way. So, all beginnings, they say, are hard. Let's see. One more. Hey, Ahmed Rosner. Let's do it. All right. Who we got here? Somebody joined. I'm going to wave at them. For some reason, they can't join my live. Let's try one more time. Accepting to go live with Casamati is unable to join. We're going to have to run some technicals and figure out why the issue of connection. It's a connection issue. We must repair connections. Oh, whoa. Well, there's miracles happening already. It was not working. You know,
my gosh.
it's like Chalios, all beginnings start off and not this start. This was one of them. It's like to get it started took double. I mean, you guys started the live and didn't accept, and then I started didn't accept. But now it's working. We have been accepted. Our tefillos have been answered. Okay, amazing.
Amazing! Yay!
I love the subtle mellow vibes behind you guys right there. It's like mellow, nice. Yeah.
Let's see what's going on. It's pretty awesome. Here, 1 second.
Okay. Oh wow. Got some art. You got some lighting. It's all tricked out. I like. Good vibes. Good vibes. So I'm here. I'm actually at home, and I wanted to get on the live with you for a while. Hear more about what you guys are up to, and I have a list somewhere of a bio of you guys. Hold on 1 second. I know a lot about you offhand, but I want to see if I go off this live. Does anyone know? Let's see in the comment sections. If you go, I haven't really done lives, so this is my first live. Welcome to my live. The bio section. If I go to look at that, right, of that, will this shut off actually? What do you think?
I don't think it's worth risking it.
Okay, you go 1 second. I want to see what happens. 1 second. It didn't go up. We're still there. Okay, I made it.
We're still there. We lost you. We lost him.
I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm going to check something. I'll be back in exactly 10 seconds.
Okay, we're still here.
All right. I am back. I have arrived back. Here we are.
Wait, so that didn't work?
Yeah, I was able to go off and come back on, and it worked. All right. Yonito. Okay, amazing. So you guys, I know that you have a warm house and you have people over and you do a bunch of amazing things that you guys have been working on. Aviva and Ellie both. I know that you are a teacher. You're an artist. You're a guide, a spiritual guide. You got so much going on, like in terms of you're from Crown to Massachusetts, Brooklyn. I think art combined with all the things you've been doing. Wow, you've done a lot of art. In terms of Chabad and Hasidus and just so much to offer people in terms of knowledge. And Ellie, I know you a while as well as you put out some amazing music, something that people don't really know. There's a song that I've heard in Israel sung by Hasidim. Like you have a walking through the you can make your arm like Friday night. I'm walking, and you have the song Yihira Chamecha going in the background, and a lot of people don't necessarily know this about the song, but you composed like that's your composition.
Well,
And
the one there's two of them. There's one that goes with the old Hasidic song.
okay, okay,
So that's a regular Tish song.
okay.
Mine is but they also sing that by
I
Rabbi
overlap.
Shtishes.
They fade into each other.
Yeah,
Actually,
they
those two
do.
songs.
They sound
And
like
um,
together.
and I've heard them countless times, both of them sung by everybody. And few people know that you actually composed that one. I don't think many people know that, right? It's incredible. And the fact that you guys are joining for Chag, I think, is going to lend an incredible amount of just good energy, positive vibes, and also spiritual. The energy that you bring is very unique, and in terms of community and all that, what we're doing at Unity. Do you guys do you understand what it's all about? What we're doing at Unity?
We, I heard you talk about it, but maybe our viewers want to hear just again.
A little recap. So we're creating a space that's spiritual and fun for being at a place in our lives because Montour is a yearly event. It's not like, happened in the past. It did, but we also, as Jewish people, celebrate it yearly. And I find that for myself and other people, it's not necessarily the place I want to be when it comes to Chag, like at Mount Torah. A lot of the times, like I'm distracted and like I won't learn all night as when I grow up in my youth and all that stuff. But if there was a place that is come as you are and had all the elements from spiritual to food and everything taken care of, then I would show up. And especially if there was energy there that makes, how can I experience the experience of being at Har Sinai where I am right now? Because that's what it is, a yearly experience for Jewish people, is you experience Matan Torah. So that's one of the main things. And the main part is that it's fun. It's something that you can actually relate to versus just an idea that happened thousands of years ago, but I don't relate really. Um, so that's the sense. What we're doing here is we're creating a space for people to enjoy Chag where they're at. It's spiritual, it's kosher. But at the same time, some people are keeping full Chag, some people are not. It's a very much unification of all different parts of Judaism, different peoples coming from different directions, all celebrating the same thing. The giving of Matan Torah in a fun way and in a unique way that you wouldn't necessarily find anywhere else. That's, as far as I understood, it doesn't exist. That's why we're trying to create that space.
It's beautiful, and I
Yeah.
feel like it also has a lot to do with Matan Torah itself, because
Right.
the every there's I think, what did they say, it's 600,000 neshamas altogether or something, and every neshama has a letter in the Torah. So um, really the Torah as a whole is bringing all the neshamas together, is really actually inclusive in the ultimate sense. The ultimate thing of what Matan Torah, I mean, you know what the thing is by the way that we need to prepare ourselves for it. And the way we prepare ourselves for it is K'ish Echad B'Lev Echad, is that one person with one heart. Um, so that's really what it is. We're all a part of this thing, and there's many different types, many different colors, all beautiful and all radiant and all just as much needed.
Yeah. So that Keshale, being one heart, a unity factor, which is Hashem really, is a unifying factor of everything. You can call it the higher power. You can call it bedrock of reality, which bedrock itself is a creation, and godliness is beyond that in a way. In terms of, we don't talk about essence. That's Kabbalistic stuff. But in terms of who we are as people, is that connecting to another person. The term ahava in love generally is in from Judaic sources is more about giving. You're creating, what can I actually give to this other person? It's not necessarily what you take. Taking is to give generally. So what we're formulating is an event that, yes, there's a certain, people are contributing to it, but the giving aspect, trying to create a space that people can actually be themselves, enjoy an environment, and feel comfortable while yet choosing what they want to do over Chag is something that um, we do on our daily life. We're living our life literally every day under the auspices of reality. We have Hashem in our lives to an extent, whatever we have. And Shavuos is just place where we can actually get in touch with ourselves and notice that every day we're experiencing godliness, and every day we're doing good things, and kind of in a communal sense connect to spirituality, but also in a very fun and engaging way. So what you're talking about, Kish Alev, coming together as people for Chag, to spend it together in a sense of community, where whatever you'd like to get out of it, whatever your mindset coming in is something, you'll be able to get something out of it. And you might be surprised with certain things that you didn't necessarily know that you were going to get, but it's actually a very positive experience. So, Kish, I'm just focusing on that word that you said, is that resonates deeply with me. Kish echad, v'lev echad. Yeah. In terms of community, I know you started to build a sense of community, and you have people that spend time at your home, and you do different work with people to benefit them. What is that you're doing? What is it that you guys focus in on? And how do you go about benefiting people and adding value and amazing parts to their lives? What are you guys up to? What do you do?
I just love how you asked that question, because that's really what it is. I always say we're a community for the people. We're for the people. So Jewish Sacred Space was developed by Meir Eliyahu pretty much as soon as we got married, a few months after we got married, because we didn't really feel that we had a community to be a part of. I do want to give a shout out to Chevra Abbas Yisrael, because they had me for years, and I was a part of their community for years. But then we moved away from Crown Heights, and it became more and more clear when we moved to Newburgh. We were very isolated, and then moving to Muncie and Pomona, we really just were feeling isolated. Even in Pomona, where there's so many Jewish people, we couldn't find our Jewish people. And this sort of like problem for me personally started back in high school. I never really felt like I belonged, or like I didn't feel kindred spirits within Judaism, and it actually caused me to go off the derech, as they say, for a decade. Because if I was only just accepted and loved for my uniqueness as an artist, and for my freedom of expression, if my freedom of expression was accepted and loved, life would have been different for me. But Hashem showed me that within Orthodox communities, there was no place for 100% unconditional love and acceptance. There was only judgment, and it was extremely hurtful and shameful, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And so I spent a decade, and going from Chabad, which is a mystical tradition, to being totally secular was the most depressing time of my life. And that lasted only 1 year before I realized this isn't going to work. And that's when I started this decade-long journey into many different religions, looking for a spiritual path. And it took me a decade. And I never really expected to be Choser B'Tshuva, because I knew something was missing for me in Judaism as I experienced it. And so I had to sort of bring the modalities that I learned in these other religions, all basically learning how to be in the body. And that's what was missing for me in Judaism, is how to experience life in my body, not in my mind. For me, the Jewish experience was I was living up here, and was extremely anxiety provoking. And I wasn't happy. I didn't like living up here. So that was that decade-long journey, and that was my journey through all these different religions. But then, of course, Hashem guides you home, and Baruch Hashem guided me home. And I realized the reason I had to do that was to incorporate these skills that I learned about the breath and about breath work back into Yiddishkeit. That's the short of it.
So you're saying that basically you had experiences in your life that led to you coming to the point that you were able to realize something that was beneficial to you, meaning Yiddishkeit has there's many ways to approach godliness, and you realize there was a missing aspect. One is from the love part, meaning just acceptance, where you feel the love and you're accepted for who you are. And then also in Yiddishkeit, everyone has their nakuda. So you found the one that it actually helps you go ahead and live your life better. And also you bring that to other people. You're offering something that people may not know about, that's part of Yiddishkeit too. That is something that is not necessarily separate because it's being filtered through your Chabad tradition, through Judaism that you learned, things you learned through your journeys, and brought to a way that's tangible and palpable to go and bring it into your daily practice that can benefit anybody who's seeking, meaning that wants to benefit from that that breath work. So I haven't done that much breath work. I'm actually excited. I've done a little bit of breath work, but to see what that entails, because it sounds like something deep and generated by you personally. It's a very personal experience that you're letting other people attach to and learn about, and then go ahead and use that for themselves to benefit their life, and have a much better experience emotionally, and cognitively. But it's that's wild. That's very nice. That's I'm glad we're gonna get to experience that. That's exciting.
Yeah, and like we mentioned today, we talked before this live. I do think that indigenous temple practice, Jewish temple practice, the Beis HaMikdash, I believe that it was a lot more of an embodied experience than Judaism as it is today. And I think that, when we think about entering the Beis HaMikdash, our senses were probably overwhelmed because there was gorgeous tapestries, gorgeous linens and wools and silks of all different colors. And then you had the ketores going, so you had this like crazy aromatic heady spice blend that was engaging your nose. So a lot of different things that were keeping you in your body and grounded in your body. And then my theory, and I believe this to be true, is that over the years, so many years of persecution, what happened is that Judaism was not safely able to be expressed in a physical, tangible, grounded way. And Jews are so smart that they figured, okay, if we want our religion to survive throughout time, we need to figure out a way to pass it from, father to son verbally. And so it basically made Judaism be a thing that lives in the mind and is passed down through the mind from father to son, right? Not necessarily mother to daughter, but father to son. And it has survived. So thank God it survived. And we're one of the oldest religions. But what has survived? What has survived? And Meir Eliyahu are looking at that closely. What has survived? And how much dogma has been laid on and the Torah. And the Torah, we all know, has such deep, deep treasures. But now it's all jumbled up with a lot of dogma. And we're trying to strip away that dogma from the truth, from the emes of the Torah. So it's very exciting work. It really, really is.
So as a Levi from the tribe of Levi, I internalize what you're saying because my menorah, for instance, is something that my dad curated for me. He created it. I figured I'd flip the screen without showing it. It's just sitting right there. That is a carved
Oh,
menorah with my name on it, with beams of light coming out that says the light of a mitzvah. Basically, you want to know how to. It's basically taking a concept that's very abstract and turning it into something that is very much real. Because every time I light my menorah on Hanukkah, it's something that my dad made for me. Physical art that is a hamsha. It's going back to the base of Mikdash. There was a menorah there. You're connected to the past. Your name means something, and just figure it out. Every time you think about it, it's a meditation. So the parts of Judaism that are not necessarily talked about so much or in practice, um, I find that a lot of people are not knowing all the details or focusing on specific details and leaving us other parts of it to the wayside. Kind of like choose and pick, and or kind of like, what about this other whole part, Adam al What about this whole other part when it comes, Adam, like people are focused on one, but not necessarily everything else. So I think what you guys are doing is amazing, that you're going back to part of something that Jewish meditation is profound. If you go into like Rabbi Akiva Tatz, I'm sure you probably read some of his stuff, and um, there is so much depth to of Judaism, and a big part of that is the meditative part, meaning tefillah. The Anshe Knesset Hagadola, the rabbis from back in the day who still had some sort of prophetic, they were able to um, be able to concretize certain concepts into meditation that lead to other states of being. If you pray properly and you internalize the words like a mantra, they affect emotional state. Exactly what you're saying, they affect your body, and you feel different after you're done. So there's something very real about tefillah in general and mantra, like being able to do breath work and being able to put yourself in a headspace that opens up from a constricted like mind space, like where you're like not able to be emotionally okay, to then go ahead and open that up to expansiveness. And it sounds like that's what you're doing is like taking a lot of the elements that people don't really focus in on. There's a lot of anxiety. There's a lot of things in society that, especially when it comes to Judaism, parts of it people get anxious about. Really being able to calm everything down through a methodology that you've developed by yourself. Obviously, you've had a lot of teachers and you have things that you've learned from, but something you internalized and you're creating a space where you can teach um, a lot of parts of Judaism that not necessarily are focused on so much. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, and just to be really real with you, you know, we are an inclusive community, which means that there's no chas v'shalom part of me that, for example, is would ever like not accept someone into our home who covers her hair, and at the same time, you know, someone who doesn't should be fully accepted into our community. You know, Eliyahu should be able to take off his yarmulke, and you should be able to hear words of Torah come out of his mouth, the same as if the yarmulke was on. And Judaism has somehow become so superficial. And it's just, at the same time, I'm not saying that I'm renewal. I'm not. I'm observant. And I have such a reverence for halacha. So it's like, I think that's what unites us in doing this together. I feel that you have this unconditional love and acceptance with who you want coming to this retreat. And at the same time, there's a halachic standard. So we're pushing the boundaries in a very big way, because orthodoxy has kind of stopped short of asking the question of like, what is the halacha in modern day? Because it stopped. It halted by the Holocaust. The halachic process halted. So now we're re-engaging in it, and we're having agency in that halachic process.
So I hear what you're saying about the transition of time where we had a very big traumatic experience as a whole nation. Literally, we're not even back to that. It's a whole different thing. The times we're living are kind of profound. We're not even back to the point of before World War II, if that's what you're referring to, and did affect a lot of things. And one of those traumatic experience of people going to a new land and all that, which affected the way people practice. A lot of people were hurt physically or emotionally. It's very hard to go into the next generation and not have some emotional trauma like that. Um, there's a lot of different aspects, but what was kind of left, from understanding a little bit what you're saying, is that through the process of the generational, a lot of the children, we're talking about, we're talking about 8 million Jews in America that would have been connected to some sort of Judaism or some level of spirituality that comes from the source of Judaism. Like when I say Judaism, I'm talking about the teachings that are given generational. We're going back to Har Sinai. We have knowledge that is thousands of years old contained within us as people if you're studying, and the books, and if you're asking somebody that they can, if you're seeking, you will find knowledge. But what you're saying of the halachic aspect, that something's got focused in on so much that other parts fell by the wayside, and it's not really talked about or focused in as much. And if we go back to the basics, go back to what it means to be connected to higher power, what it means to go throughout your day with that knowledge and to do actionable steps in your day that benefit yourself, obviously, because we're here to do for ourselves, but to also work on what is tikkun olam, which is not necessarily meaning let's go fix the atmosphere or fix physical buildings. It's also very much what you were saying, Eliyahu, before, about being able to step into the other person's shoes, empathy for what they're going through, being able to experience them for who they are, not who I perceive them as, because I never asked the question of, hey, who are you? Those kind of aspects, and being able to connect to someone in that way. And then see what kind of experience would actually benefit them, because some people are totally turned off to go into shul because as a child they were forced to do that. They don't want to be seen in shul. But if there's something musical going nearby, they'll be drawn to it because it's spiritual and engaging and it's positive. Meaning it's a positive, you can wear whatever you want. You can wear a shorts, you can wear a t-shirt, you can wear a suit, whatever you choose, whatever you don't have to come a certain way. Point is that the each part of, I guess, a spiritual engagement, some people don't know much about it because they just do not study anything related to spirituality or Judaism, and some people have trauma with it. So on all angles, the people that have come to our events, I'm similar to probably your house, is that some people never really experience an actual spiritual halachic chag of what it means to sit down at a table with no phones out, right? To be connected to other people, be present because you're honing in on yourself. And some people have experienced that, no, why you can't do that? Stop, stop. Everything was just you can't do as a child. So they're wanting to pull their phone out because why not? There's no spiritual connection. It's an emotional trauma, but they realize no one else is doing here around me. Let me find out why. What are we all doing here? So all people are accepted. On, meaning, I'm assuming by you as well. Is that correct? Meaning,
Absolutely.
anyone who wants to, um, I guess, take from what you're offering in terms of nurturing certain part of a person that um, may not have the experience of closing down, getting into the mind, breathwork, getting out of your mind actually, and getting. I didn't get experience, so I really can't say what it is, but getting into another state without having to take a substance necessarily, without having to go anywhere else other than themselves and find the answers, so to speak, within themselves. Meaning getting to a point that they're able to um, connect profoundly to themselves. And if not divinity, but that's a side. Once you're connected to yourself somewhat, you are able to connect to divinity as well, which is another I mean, that's probably much more deeper conversation. But so that's amazing that you've done that work. You've gone through the processes of of working on yourself to that point, and you have that to offer to people. And I found that amazing, and also that you guys are doing it as a team. That's also exceptional. As like you have different energies. I know both of you from and you bring together a synergy of energy, which I'm looking forward to seeing.
Well,
It's yeah.
really, our Baruch Hashem, like our shalom bias. We always say like that's the most important thing because first of all, shalom bias is important, but in our work, it's important. People are so touched by, the conscious relationship that we work so hard to make sure is conscious all the time. And I also just wanted to say, like, when did Judaism become a place that's not artist friendly? Like, when did it become shut down to creative expression? When did we get scared of faces, looking at faces? Like, when did the fear start creeping in? And I guess that's the main thing that I want is like a place that people can feel free to express themselves creatively, you know?
So I agree on that in terms of artistic expression. It's incredible. Certain places have an incredible amount of art. Some have none at all. And if you go into art, some places are like, no, that's wasting time. Don't do that. Like you should be doing something else than that. But just from raising children and seeing certain people that do work with like I guess called chinuch, meaning giving people the ability to grow in their own personal potential. Um, it's huge to be able to take what you're good at and your innate skills or things you appreciate and go and use that to elevate. And art is a big part of that. Taking art and using that to elevate situations and express yourself. And given an environment that's one of the main things I do personally in my life is I create art for events that are weddings, bar mitzvahs, all that stuff, and that's a huge part I think of Judaism. And yeah, I feel in some ways it's been left on the wayside for a lot. We do have a plethora of art within Judaism, dating back to the Beis Hamikdash, the way it was created. Even Shlomo Melech, Solomon's temple was incredible. It was the epicenter of an edifice of art at that time, and doesn't exist in the form right now, but it was beautiful. So I totally agree on that. That's amazing that you see it that way. And yeah, I'm wondering if there's any artists out there that actually is a plug right now. Any artists that actually want to showcase what they're doing, that they love doing in their own way, they're welcome to bring their art and we can display it at the event, either in the dining area and or outside if it's waterproof. So feel free to curate something or create something because that expression of your personal connection to Harsina or connection to other people or just something you want to get out there to get to see, feel free to create art. Yeah, that's beautiful.
Cool.
So, Eliyahu, in terms of music, I've seen you in action, and you get into this like, it's like you're literally in the music when you sing. It's your energy you feel the energy in the music, and I've experienced that. Um, what is that like? how does that, how do you, like, when you're doing it, what's the feeling? Like, what are you feeling when you do that? It's like, it's just for, I can tell you what I'm feeling. Like the energy that comes over is fire. It's like an energy in a good way, not in a bad, like, it's just, you know how like you take a match and you light another match with it? You didn't really take anything away from the first match, but the second one's lit. So I feel that energy and like, it just, it's just absorbed. And it makes me want to be in that same space also, which was ever what I'm thinking is that he's like literally meditating while he's singing. Is that correct or
Yeah, well, I'd say like for me, it's I've been notorious for um, not always taking requests, and there's a reason for that because my nature is that I can't really sing what isn't authentic to me. So like when I'm singing, I'm singing my truth, even though it's somebody else's song, it's somebody else's words, but it's something that resonates with me. I can only sing what resonates. You know, I'm I'm not the guy that goes to a gig anymore and I'm like their jukebox. You know, this song. Can you do this one? Can you do that one? Um, I really have a very strong connection to the songs, to the prayers that I pray. To me, it's prayer. It's not just song. Um, I'll really feel it. I'll think about it. Like I'll sing a niggun, I'll sing the words, and people get into it. Then I'll stop the song in the middle and say like a thought that just came to my mind, with about these words that we're singing, whatever it is, Yibana Mikdash, it's whatever it might be, and because I'm really trying to channel that. I'm really trying to channel a prayer with these words. Um, it's not always the case. I don't always feel that. Um, there are many though that really that do sing authentically, but it's not something that I always feel, and I think that's what you might be sensing is kind of unique in some way. It used to also be something which was, um, as you said, fire. So there could be a fire that you know there could be a fire that destroys. There could be a fire that builds. There could be a fire that you know that like my mamish lights people on fire. That creates light, creates meaning, and um, as I'm getting into that fire, into that light, it can also happen that fire of destructiveness can kind of creep in, and it's like someone is if let's say people are talking or this or that, if there's a little, I used to have this very strong reaction to that. I would try to hold myself back and try to be whatever, but that's something that I had to work on over time because again, there really is a fire. There's a fire of tefillah, and it's it is that is also something to be noted and to be wary of. Like I did sense this a lot. Like growing up, people that whether it was family or people that I saw that davened, let's say, with a certain intensity, but that intensity is also borderline. It's like very close to anger as well. Like in an instant, they could turn to anger, um, and, and that takes a lot of self-awareness. And whatever I'm saying, I just been on this journey for a very long time and finding that within myself, finding how to kind of how to kind of sing and pray with heart, but also at the same time, sort of like I needed to be. It needs to be with heart and without heart at the same time. Because if you're too in it, oh my God, you know. So it's like sort of watching myself do it in some way. But it really is an experience. I don't know. I've said a lot, but yeah.
So
It's
yeah, that's
it's
thanks
it's
for
been
sharing
a
that.
journey of many years, so there's
The
just a
journey.
lot. Yeah,
It's a journey of expression of, I mean, getting to know yourself, and then also
yeah,
how you, when you're singing different times and as you grow over time, and like how you express and tefillah is incredible. The fire part of, it could be creative, constructive. I mean, it could be used to warm something to food, or it could be used to destroy, it could burn something down. And interesting how at something called Burning Man, right? The the Kuda of all this started at Burning Man, basically before 2020, before COVID, right? So it's it's a fire event. They burn a man effigy at the end, and also there's a bunch of propane canisters shooting everywhere, and like in tefillah, there's not much tefillah per se going on there. There are meditation domes with a lot of meditation going on, and there are a lot of spiritual kind of things. But the thing that I got out of it was that fire as energy is honed and pointed in a direction can create so much positivity if it's just channeled. It just has to be done the right, like channel the energies. So what that did to me is based on some other, people I've learned under and taught me different things, that just do the next good thing with that. How do I go ahead and manifest, some experience where I'm out in the desert with all these different people and turn it into something positive where something spiritual will come out of it? I didn't know at the time it would happen. When I said Shema at sunrise there, it was like, oh, I should just connect to God right now. It's a mantra, Shema, if you think about it. And that caused the outcome later. It just burst into existence, manifested itself that, oh, I should put some people together. Kind of like that experience of community, but make it real, meaning let people experience a sense of community for a chag, that they feel like they belong, feel connected. And the energy is one of constructive fire energy, where it's you're using the energy to do something positive. You're cooking food, you're elevating the situation, you're creating energy um, that's positive and has an ultimate purpose, versus just a party, where parties are fun and we're making a party. That's what this is gonna be, fun. At the same time, it's a thought out logistical thing behind it to go ahead and create something that energy wise uplifts. It's not like at the end of the night when you're ready to go home and I have to go back to my room now. It's like you don't want to back to go to sleep because you'd rather just hang out with these people at the bonfire, like singing these Nigunim or these Torahs, or like happens to be cheesecake or food wherever you like. Everything's you could just vibe out and have that place. If you didn't have that growing up in a positive environment at a Suda at a meal on Shavuot, you have it here with other people. If you didn't have it, a shul experience, if you never had it, this positive vibe, or you experience it tonight, here it is. You can be there or not, but you can choose. You're an adult. Just using our personal energies in a way that benefits other people, and that's really what this is all about. Ultimately, it's when we do things that are for self and to pull out whatever we can from something, we're taking. When we do things where we're creating spaces for people to be their best self and give the opportunity just to have fun and just chill, then we're creating, I guess, godliness, because that's the point. We're supposed to build the world. We're supposed to go ahead and use our personal energies, our potentials, what we can do to go ahead and benefit other people. So that's what Shavuos is to me, is like, how else do I celebrate Matan Torah? It's a time where, how is my relationship with God? What I celebrate it by creating space that I would appreciate to be at for Shavuos. So I'm understanding that you're much about that in terms of what you're creating. Kasamati is you're creating a space that people can go ahead, be themselves, tune into themselves, but also just exist and elevate. And I think that's what you guys are doing, is you're trying to elevate people, and I'm on board for that. So that's really, it's really nice. Yeah,
Wow.
that's
yeah,
inspiring. It was. So you're saying it was really a trip to Burning Man that conceived this whole idea?
yeah. Actually, because
That's
basically I went
amazing.
to Burning Man in 2019, and I was there to explore because I'm an artist, and there's a crazy amount of art installation that people spend their entire year trying to build. Like literally in their garage, they're building art cars that cost them like 20K of materials that they spend all their hours building on, so they can go ahead and drive this thing around for a week in the desert and have other people hop on and off and have a party with them. They'll give them a bear or a bottle of booze or something, and they'll just like hang out with them on their art car. And the people get on and off, and they meet people. And the core friend hangs out. They're part of a camp, but like that's just one thing. People are building entire camps, and it comes and goes in a matter of a month. It totally built and then disappears entirely. Kind of like, back to chaos. It's like literally worshiping the cycle of like, we're here, we're not here. And things just go and don't exist and then exist and not exist. Not for a reason necessarily, but we're humans and we can do this. Let's do it. But not really for a cause. The cause is art. Music comes out of that. The music comes out of art, really. So the music is more melodic and very, like, there's all types of music, but the genre is interesting to listen to. A lot of different international music beats in it, different instruments. But the idea of the festival is that there's a sense of community. They build an effigy that they camp around, very much so like the Jews in the desert. So much so that when I came home to my mom, who grew up Orthodox background, and she's like, so you just went to the Egel HaZav in the desert with the Erev Rav. I'm like, whoa, talk about judgment. Right? But that's her experience of it, because she saw some footage. She's like, oh, that's what it looks like to me, because that's her upbringing, and that, like, meaning what she was saying to me is like, I don't approve of this one. That's the first thing she's saying. And the second, she's saying like, I'm connecting to something, but it might have been her who actually put me on the trip. Is like, so what does that even mean? Well, who were they? So it brings up thoughts in my mind who the people she's describing were in history. Like, but it did something else for myself when I was sitting on my bed at Tisha B'Av on that summer of 2020, right after. And I'm thinking like, hey, what's up? What am I doing this summer? I'm staying home more because I want to be the whole crazy trip about the COVID thing. Like that I don't want to go out. That hurt my parents. Like, so like I'm basically segregating myself because of all the crazy things that are going. All the media that's being fed to me. And I'm like sitting a little depressed on my bed. I'm like, what can I do that benefits people? And it's the summer of 2020. Like, I'm not really connected. I'm used to events. I'm in the event production industry. I'm running around. I'm connecting with people, socializing, and I feed off that. Introvert, extrovert, and basically I'm not able to do that now. So I'm starting to get sad. And then the sadness when you get sad a lot of time is the concept of ima anachi b'tzara. Like, there's literally, the Torah says about the aspect of godliness is that don't think that God's far from you when you're in a sad, depressive state. You're in a tzara, you're constricted. There's a way to get out of that. There's a way to expand yourself. There's a pasuk that says, I call at you from the depths, answer me with expansiveness. It means tzara, literally constricted, and answer me with rechava, like expansiveness. So what that started a process was that I formed a logo of 12 people in a circle, which also represented the sun, which also was like a festival of like I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And the concept of unity, because I said Shema at sunrise, because when everything was, I was at Burning Man, and I'm in an environment where I asked myself a question. It's like, hey, where are you at? Like, it's Shabbos, it's sunrise, it's Burning Man. Where are you?
Right.
Like, neshama vivasti, as they say in Yiddish. And where are you, soul? Like, talking to yourself. And I just covered my eyes as the sun rose and said Shema, and everything faded away. Kind of like that meditation state where you just go above the environment. And that led me to a point. Is like, hey, how come I could do this here too? I don't have to be there anywhere. I could do this where I am right now, present. I'm present here now. So that launched later when I was creating the logo. It was a year, almost a summer later already, but 2020, I created a logo, and it was the unity aspect of Shema. That's the aspect of unity, connectivity, which is a connectivity of God and divine, but also people, because the people around it. It also is a sun, because if you think about the sun and you ask someone who's an atheist, what is the sun, or agnostic, they'll say it's a fusion bomb in space. If you ask an ancient Egyptian, what is the sun? They'll refer to it as a god. They'd say that's something that's a god, and to them that's a cognitive system of Mazalot star systems, whatever, or zodiac. They're able to say that's, if you talk to somebody who studied some of that more depth, you'd get to the sun is a fusion bomb possibly, but there's a light behind that. And the radiation comes from, when you think about that higher point, the radiation on your face becomes more, not just a physical sense, but you start to have a light in your mind. So that was the starting point of this, is that I should do something that I will create an environment that people can be at, where I throw, like, I'm going to go create this and I'm going to spend my time and energies on it. And whoever wants to benefit off it can benefit off of it. So that's the connection to doing the next good thing, trying to be a giver and create an environment that I would appreciate and likely other people would appreciate too. for a lot of different factors. So that's the burner aspect of this. And yeah, fire is a big thing. That's why I brought it up. And that's a big part of. I'm drawn towards it. I don't know why I'm drawn. I'm drawn towards fire. I am.
Yeah.
Um,
Sure.
yeah. So that's one aspect. So I'm excited that you guys are on board for Shavuos. It's going to be absolutely epic, and we have so many things coming. We have the amount of musicians and a couple of just more DJs are joining up, and other spiritual so people who are going to contribute a vast amount of fun and engaging classes actually. Some people come along to do that as well. It's going to be absolutely amazing, and I'm so happy you guys are on board for it. And yeah, this is exciting. I know you've been to some before. It's starting to get a little more formed up and organized, and I'm so happy that you guys are coming back. And this is great news. It's absolutely epic.
Yeah, we're really, really grateful to you for thinking of us, and just like emotionally, I'm just touched because, as I said, it's so rare to find a community where there's true acceptance, and I feel that from you, and that's everything. It's really everything for us.
It is. Yeah.
Well, we are like an island here at Casa
We're
Samati.
more and more on the fringe, We're more and more like
Counterculture.
yeah, we're just very much our own thing. I mean, more recently I've just been more colorful and just been more free with what I post on social media. I mean, like videos of my wife and I singing. I mean, like, for somebody
Crazy, right?
for somebody who's like in the very from world as a singer. So obviously because of that, I'm more out of the scene. But I didn't want to be untrue and be in the scene. Like it's just not worth it for me. So I'm really committed to the work that we're doing together.
Yeah, we're paving a new way, and we have some opposition, but as they say, that's how you know you're doing something. So I'm like, oh, great. Okay, so now I got the message. We're doing something. Because we got to be careful because, people that are in the old way take it as antagonistic. It's not really antagonistic. Really, like, people come to our house, we have very sweet little kumsitzim, we're singing, we're breathing. There's nothing.
I feel like people feel it as a maybe even as a threat or something to their way of life or something, which we're not threatening anybody in any kind of way, of course. We're accepting of whatever it is.
We're a nice, sweet couple.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I feel actually is, I think that there are many people that have, at one time or another, dreamed or imagined of something different, Like, is this all there is, Everybody knows, I don't know, you're going to the same shul, you're hearing the same style, shiur, lecture, or davening, or whatever it is. There's little variations, but like, where are we actually going? Where are we taking this? Where are we taking this? And I think that many people have dreamed of it at some time, or have had such a thought at some time. But they're like, whatever, but for my community, or for my wife, or for my husband, or whatever, me, really, yes, I'm colorful, but I don't do it because...
whatever reason.
Right? And I realized that I was this way too. I still am, actually, to some degree. And
it's the part of us that makes us small.
Yeah, it's the part, and that kind of feeling like lingers, and you see somebody else who's just deciding to be a little bit more like creative, more open, a little more bold, if you will, actually. Then like that feeling that creeps up. There's something inside of them that like they can't stand it because there's it's almost like an insecurity. I don't know what it is, but I mean, people know that this is what they want. They can't see it though. They can't face up to it, and I don't blame them because I couldn't for a long time.
So
but we know that this is not. It's not the Mashiach way when we just keep on doing things over and over by route, and just keep on doing the same things. And like, I'm just, I want this to go bigger and broader. What you're doing, what we're doing, I want it to be bigger and broader because, you know, I just, it never resonated with me really that God is here just for the Jewish people. What always resonated for me is God is here for the world. And we may be the messengers, we may be at the top of the uh, whatever it is, the top of the chain, whatever. But I'm saying God is here for the world. There's no doubt. God created the world. God is coming back for the world. Um, we initially come from Abraham. That's who really initially the Jewish nation comes from. And Abraham is chosen because Abraham is giving it is inviting the world to see, you know. Um, Things got more touchy after that, got more complicated after that. But in my heart, I'm going back to Abraham. I want to be more. I want to be more like that, more open, more inviting, um, and just showing people the light, showing myself the light. I can see the light through others as well.
That's beautiful. And what you're saying is not like a new path necessarily of existence, because what you're saying is actually all concepts that I've heard before in different ways. It's amazing that there's many ways to do things, and the approach of knowing that just the words that we say in the morning of Moda Ani, which means the process is just we're saying that God wants me here present. And everybody who's in the world, for whatever reason, God wants them here present. The universe is a cog system, like an engine, different gears doing different things.
Yeah.
Without one part, it's not functioning. So some things are painful and some things are joyous and some things are very positive experiences, some seem negative. But overall, all the experiences are part of, like, so what you're saying is, yeah, the world should, we don't try to convert people. We're not, it's just, we're trying to say, you could be exactly who you are. We accept you. Just do that, keep doing what you're doing. Do that good thing. We have more responsibility now because we're supposed to actually literally hold the world up. That's the job of every Jew, every person in the world. We're supposed to be building the world together as a team. That's what ideally what's supposed to be going on. And unfortunately, we don't see that all the time. We see people going back to their personal interests of their own desires or their own haughtiness or whatever it is, that they're not able to see the other person and help them build, rather see what I can take. So going back to that is that you're saying that you're trying to do the next good thing and uplift people regardless, meaning just build the world and and help people. And there's not one way to do that because there's so many facets, um, different ways you can be beneficial and help people. So I say that kudos to that. You're doing good. It's nice. It's nice to see people doing good work and taking the effort, one, to work on yourself, that a lifetime of working on self, which obviously, if you're trying to do good for other people in elevate situations, you have to work on yourself. It's just not going to happen unless, and then take that, whatever you do learn, and translate it over to how can I benefit the next person. So it's absolutely epic that you're taking the time to do that, and you're actually building your lives around that, and it's incredible to see.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for seeing us. And I do want to, I want to like kind of get my kids up to bed and stuff. I'd love to just send everyone off with a little sampler of Jewish sacred space, if you will. Does that sound good?
Sure. It sounds, actually, I was looking forward to this part, so yeah.
Okay, great. So everyone can just get into their body and into their breathing, and we'll do a song together. You can like move your body however you need. Personally, I feel like, I've been sitting well, so I'm just stretching and smiling. I always say smiling is a symbol that we are our own best friend. It's a reminder to be our own best friend. Sure, yeah. This is a really nice song.
Is it from
It's
one of those new Israeli groups?
Elokai Neshama. Alma? Is it Alma?
It might be from Alma, actually. Yeah, it's one of those new Israeli groups putting out good music.
I don't know. It's Alma. But you can always message us after, and the name is just skipping our minds. But I'm happy to find out what the name is. Neshama natatavi tehorani Neshama natatavi tehorani Neshama bikirbi mode ani lefanecha Kol zman שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותיי כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות ריבון כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך כל זמן שהנשמה בקרבי מודה אני לפניך אדוני אלוהי ואלוהי אבותיי כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות ריבון כל המעשים אדון כל הנשמות And now that you've soaked in that vibration
So I felt that.
It's timeless. It's
We
entering.
like to also sometimes I do it even more. I like to take a little breath in the middle of a song, which is kind of a unique thing to do. Usually you keep going, you know, the rhythm demands that you gotta, but we like that concept. It brings us more, you know, it helps us get back into the body, get back into consciousness.
Yeah, we're building space through the song. So, like, that's the difference between this and singing it in the kumsitz. We're bringing more consciousness to the process of singing and more breath to the process of singing.
And you're using timeless words connected to divinity, but it's a meditative state of breath work that combines the two. I felt more. I felt the energies more than like you could listen to people sing, and you were in like in the music. It was one and the same. It's incredible.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. That's the groundedness of, that's what it means to be grounded. You're not in a story about things that are happening as they're happening. You're actually in them as they're happening. And that's the practice. I'm not saying it's easy. I have a tendency towards being in the mind, and Hashem did that so that I can, teach other people how to get back in the body. If I was good at it, then it wouldn't have been such a learning curve. I wouldn't be able to teach it. Um, and my phone is telling me low battery, so I wouldn't want to get cut off from this beautiful live and end it without, just saying thank you so much. Really, it's been a pleasure to converse.
Yeah, that's really nice to talk and share with some people who hopped on, and it's I'm really glad that you're bringing yourself, your energies, and contributing to make this an absolutely say incredible experience, but it's not the words. It's more than that. It's just we'll see what it becomes, and I think that the fact that you guys are coming to bring your energy is already there's so many different people, but everyone has their own unique, and you guys have something that it's a shorish. I've started to see what you're doing, and it's incredible. Using music that way, and also breath work, and in a way that elevates. And brings back to the present. That's a key factor. You have to be out of your mind into your body and be able to be present. That's incredible. And utilizing something that's a super healthy way of doing it. And
Thank you.
I love that.
Thank you for seeing us.
Yeah, thank you, Meir. This has been
We see you.
it's been so delightful, so delightful. And I hope this isn't like corny, but you know, I really sense the light in you as well. And your name is Meir, which is light, but Meir is not just light itself. It's the ability to illuminate for others, being Meir.
Thank,
So
thank you. I have a secret second name. It's a first name. My first name's Abraham.
Look at
Second name is Meir.
that.
oh, look at how.
Amazing. Amazing.
The more hidden part. But yeah.
Okay, well, we're looking forward to for branding with you more over Shavuot.
Yeah, same. Super excited. So happy you guys you're joining up and for the community and making this actually even more enjoyable. So thank you.
You
And
to everybody else who joined this.
Yeah, and join us in real life. This is also real life, but Shavuos.
be present. Be present when there's no phones out, and just be there. Just to be that. I'm looking for that alone. Just have like I'm not gonna have my phone on, and I'm gonna be with other people in a positive environment. I'm so excited for that. Besides everything else, that's one of the main. The one I'm like not like no longer on my phone, which would be incredible for me. But in terms of what we're doing together, I'm so glad you guys are coming and you're making this happen, and thank you very much. And people think some people are on right now, and people later will thank you, and some thank you beforehand already for what you're contributing. Thank you.
All right. See you soon.
See you guys soon. So good to chat. Let's do it again. See you guys.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye. Good night.